Hello, Goddess, and welcome to this week's Divine Feminine Energy Empowerment Message here for Super Sign Sunday. And if you are new to my channel, my name is Rochelle Richard, and we here at Empowerment Experiences are looking for and finding our power all along this, which is each our own self-love empowerment journey. We are, each and every one of us, goddesses rising and stepping into thriving on this journey, even though I know how challenging it can be to even just survive some days. And right now, that probably feels like a very, very big weight. You know, a very similar truth for you in your journey. Where some days, just getting through the day is all you've got. For today's Super Sign Sunday, I have new music, new energy. I've been led to speak from this space of recognizing that where you are in this murky, unknown space is exactly so that you can discover for yourself what your truth is, what it is that you do know, so that you can be amplifying the power that you have within you, so that when those days of barely surviving happen, that's how you survive through it, right? That's how you get through the day and into the next. That's how you are able to get into that next day and say, today is a new day, and today I am choosing to be open and allowing for things to change, for clarity to come to me, for clarity to empower me into my knowing more and more. And when you have that clarity that grounds you more into and connects you more with your power, then again, those things for which you have confusion, you have uncertainty, that you still have the power to allow yourself to just flow in what you know, and to allow for the things that you do not to just be, rather than engaging in things that are only going to fuel your uncertainty and fuel your confusion. Choose instead those things that you can look at and immerse yourself in and allow to embrace you in a space of safety, of security, of feeling like you truly are being supported by the universe, and that your only responsibility here really truly is for you to be reconnecting with your power within you, is to be reconnecting with you, to hone your gifts so that you can be solid and strong and sure of your gifts. That's what we're doing here, Goddess. That's what we're doing on this self-love empowerment journey, is we're learning to love our true selves, even and including all of the parts of ourselves that maybe, just maybe, you really wish you could erase, or the parts of your life that right now feel unbearable, especially on the grand stage of things, where things feel hopeless. Those are the times when you are being asked to look within yourself and realize that the answers you seek and the power that you desire to possess to create the change that you want and need, both in your life and in this world, that all of that is inside of you. And that really, almost all the time, you could say, and there's always almost, not always, but always almost, right? Because it's not always, but for the most part, it's those times of recognizing for yourself that maybe, just maybe, everything is happening for me, so that I can recognize that I already have the power within me, that I already know what I do need to know. It's just a matter of allowing myself to see beyond the limitations that I have put in my own path, to shift perspectives on a subject of something that has me all twisted up. This is where you are, Goddess. You're being asked to allow yourself to shift perspectives, to just see the circumstance through someone else's eyes that is willing to offer you a vision of where maybe, just maybe, you can see where your power is. And then maybe, just maybe, you can take that power back by rewriting the story that you're telling, by changing how you're viewing the situation. And that's all it entails, is a simple perspective shift to create that ripple effect, that domino effect that tips the scales in your favor so that you get out of your own way. You stop pinching yourself off. You let yourself dream the dreams that you desire to dream, no matter how magnificent or finite they may be. So the question is, for today's Super Sign Sunday, to start with these cards and knowing what it is that we need to know. Well, it's about finding that courage within you. It's about allowing yourself to see that you are safe. I love that this card right off the bat is affirming that you have the power within you to allow yourself to feel the support and safety of the universe in its totality. That regardless of what decision you make to step out into the space towards the dreams that you desire, you have that courage within you. It's just up to you to let yourself feel safe, because that's the key. You're not used to feeling truly supported and safe in your journey. And therefore, it's a challenge for you in this more awakened state, in this greater connectedness that you have with yourself, with the universe, with all that is. You're in this new space of being much more capable of being able to embody safety, right? To feel as though you are one with the universe, and therefore fear is an illusion. Fear of any kind. Letting yourself realize that the only one who keeps you apart from knowing, from your knowing, is you. Because it's not called inner knowing for nothing. No one else can reach inside you and tell you to think a certain way unless, of course, you allow them that sort of control. You see, we take our power back when we begin to actually question, when we ask questions, when we ask questions of what's being asked of us if it doesn't quite make sense. We question authority. You definitely need to be questioning authority so much more these days. We begin to really allow ourselves to speak up when something doesn't feel right. Does it mean that you go out and engage and involve yourself in that? Maybe not necessarily. Maybe that's not what the courage is about. Maybe the courage is simply just about you being willing to speak, to utilize that throat chakra and allow for what you are being called to say it. Because that is your knowing that you are here to share. And if you don't speak it, then it goes unspoken, period. You are here with a unique set of gifts, a unique perspective. That again, you may be that perspective shift for someone else, and it's being able to be in that courage within you, to connect with that courage within you so that you can speak up and say something or question authority when you know at your core that it's not right. There's a saying that I'm a part of an amazing organization called Legal Shield. It gives me access to a team of attorneys for such a reasonable rate, an affordable monthly rate. If that sounds of interest to you, by all means, drop a comment, and even better still, reply to one of my newsletters and say, hey, you mentioned Legal Shield. What is that? Or comment below. What is that? The saying is, our fun little tagline is this, that the law may be legal, it's just not logical, right? And that is this convoluted, corrupted system in which we live. And that is what we light workers are here to do. We're here to break the matrix. We're here to completely turn it upside down and create the new earth rising, right? When clients ask me, and I was just asked this, well, as she's watching the New World Order attempt to overtake humanity, while we have the New Earth Risers over here, standing ground and saying, no, this is a world of light, and we are here to, quote unquote, fight. And I say fight in quotations because we're not bringing the fight. We're the defense. We're the ones that are now standing ground and saying, no, you don't get my power anymore. I'm not going to go along with that anymore because that is inhumane. That goes against humanity. Regardless of how you put the spin on it, because there's so many things that have a spin, and we're looking at this more and more as well, where certain texts may have some truth, but all the rest of it is a bunch of BS. Kind of like the bills in Congress where they tell you about one little thing, but then they sneak in all the garbage that has screwed us all over. Because why? We don't take the time to ask questions. We don't take the time to inform ourselves beyond what is being blasted straight to our faces. So it's about finding the courage to speak up, simply when something just doesn't feel right, and to be willing to be confronted with whatever result that may bring. Because would it not be better to have spoken out against a tyrannical act than to succumb to it, than to give power to it? It's kind of like you're talking to a person and you're facing the direction where you see a truck, barreling off-road right at you, and you have the choice to say, hey, there's a truck coming right at us. Yet the other person doesn't want to hear it. Oh no, we're not on the road. That's nonsense. There's no one coming. But yet you clearly see this impending collision that's very well most likely going to end their life. However, they don't want to hear it. You speak up still, but at the same time, you also get out of the way. Because if they won't listen, you can't force someone to see things your way, to think the way you do. You can simply find the courage to speak on how you view things, how you feel about things, to ask questions, to be willing to engage in this discourse. But in the end, you have to stand true to you, to your purpose, to honor your worth, your life, your knowing, to have the courage to step aside and save yourself if someone else isn't willing to save themselves. Those who are willing and eager to step up and save themselves and make the changes and do what needs to be done within themselves to change their own trajectory. Those are the very ones that can be, quote, saved. And in turn, that tips the scales that much more for the salvation of humanity, to further evolve, transform, transcend, ascend. Wow. There's quite a bit of this whole a lot of messages just coming through beyond the cards in the space of being able to recognize and discern and break it down, get that clarity at such a deeper level. And again, to be willing to have the courage to ask these questions, to ask questions of yourself that are going to maybe perchance trigger parts within you, because you're needing to see where these traumas, where these fears may be hiding within you. And it's having the courage to do that within yourself, for yourself, as well as being willing to do that for others, to be able to look within themselves at the changes that maybe they're needing to make in order to create the lives that they would really like to be living. This is how we lead by example, is being willing to do for ourselves, and in some cases to ourselves, what's being asked of all of us. That's how we lead by example. So, because it is about integrating that shadow. And this is where we already know. And I just saw, wow, 2020 on the clock. And it's so aligned that it's 2020 on the clock, because that is when this whole awakening for humanity really, really began. As we know, March 2020, that's when it started. And this is why I also feel that it's not a coincidence that it's hindsight is 2020 is our phrase, right? Because we need to flip things upside down. We need to look at the other side of things in order to get the bigger picture. And then we need to look at all the things that we can in between. We have to allow ourselves to gain information, in order to expand understanding. And if we're not willing to take in other information outside of that which we already know or think we know about things that are happening or unfolding in this physical world, it's one thing about your inner knowing about what is right for you, about knowing what resonates with you. That's what inner knowing is. It is knowing that, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. It is knowing that, wait a minute, ooh, that part of me doesn't feel very good. Ooh, wait a minute, I'm triggered there. And therefore, what is that telling me? What is that telling me that I know in this moment? That I know I had this experience that has now created, that had created trauma within me, and now is a trigger. It's triggering me. So what is this knowing within me helping me to see, right? So that I can integrate that aspect of myself, so that then this fear, it no longer has power over you, right? That instead you may have that fear appear again. However, it does not own you. You instead are the one in control of you. So with that, with this work, as we know, with the shadow work that we're doing, with allowing ourselves to see what we need to see, that in turn is what increases our trust and confidence within ourselves, our confidence in our intuition, in our inner knowing, is by listening to it. Allowing yourself to even hear the things that your ego may not want to hear. That's what this is, because the shadow side is our ego side, in essence, hiding things from us, right? It's in the shadows. It's in hiding. It's not in the light. So the ego doesn't want us to do this. It's like, nah, you don't see me. Look over there. Look over there. Ooh, you don't see me. Look over there, kind of thing. We're not doing that anymore. This is exactly what happens on the grand stage in the media outlets. Is when there's some big story going down, you can be sure that's just a distraction. There is something far more sinister at play. All right, and that again is something that as you further your awakening journey, as you further awaken to remembering who you are, the power you possess, that so importantly that you can recognize your discernment gauge, that you can begin to allow yourself to find your brave, to be courageous enough to see the shadow aspects that are revealing themselves within you, so that you can in turn receive that intuitive guidance from your inner knowing of what is actually true. What is actually true for you. So I'm almost, feeling to see if we have any more from the unicorns before we go over to our power of surrender that I'm so feeling. Oof, there we are. And that definitely feels well. And that's what we use. We have to use our imagination. Goddess, I'm feeling called to say that it is known that you have shut yourself off a lot from imagining a different world, a different life. Because I know that these last 3 years have really caused you to question whether or not you are supported, to question whether or not there really is a future for any of us. Because of what those of us who are aware of what's happening, well, we know what's happening, what's coming, the timeline that the the nefarious agenda seeks for humanity. That timeline is being pushed full force upon humanity. But then you have those of us, again, who are here to fight back for that and say, no, we envision something different. We are here to create something different than what has been created and what they're wanting created for humanity. A totalitarian society wherein you cannot question. When you keep yourself from speaking up or asking questions or just allowing yourself to receive what you need is more the way to put that. To allow yourself to receive what you are needing in order for your inner being, your inner knowing to kick in and go, yes, that's it. That's the piece we needed to say, yes, this is, I knew this in me. So yeah, you may see that as somewhat of external validation, but it's more of when you are creating, when you're creating a painting, you want a different color. You need that tidbit or what would be that bit of information, that color of paint to add to the picture to make it more complete. It doesn't mean that you lacked anything. It just means that it creates a more complete picture so that you can make a better decision for what your next move is, for what you're being called to do, right? The solution appears. That other color arrives. That piece of information arrives for you so that you can then step more into the reality that you are wanting to create. And so right now, it is so important that you begin to allow yourself to dream, Goddess, that you really, truly let yourself imagine whatever your soul is wanting to show you. Because you are here to create a world that does not yet exist. So how can you create something that's unfamiliar if you're constantly staying in that which is familiar? It's about finding the courage, integrating that fear, that shadow side, so you can tune in better to the intuition and follow the guidance, the path, the map, the canvas map of the vision that you are here to fulfill, to make real through your own soul's gifts and blessings that it bestows upon the world just by being here. Your imagination is only yours, Goddess, and nobody else sees the world the same way as you do. Even identical twins, though as alike they may be, they still experience the world from each their own perspectives, and therefore they each will still have their own unique experiences. They'll have their own unique paintings of what this reality looks like, or what the reality they desire to look like looks like. And you're here to create your own little heaven on earth so you can show others that they can too. We live, of course, by the most important guidance of all humanity, which would be to first do no harm, even though that, of course, is a motto of an industry that's really contradictory. But I strongly feel that if we lived by that, doesn't mean you have to love someone. It just means don't hurt someone else. That's it. We're not making you love others. We're just asking that you don't hurt someone else. Obviously against their will. That's another story, right? Because that's the point here, is it's what we each require for our joy, right? It's what lights us up so that we can lead by example for others to really connect with, to discover and connect with what lights them up. So, with that being lit up, let us, I haven't done this in a moment, and I'm feeling like a little bit more in-depth of a message today for Super Science Sunday, and that is, we're going to ask at this time then, because we are creating this new earth, we are connecting more and more with that inner knowing so that we can be working our light, right, Goddess? What is it that you are needing to know, right? Needing to have brought into revelation within yourself on how, okay, totally not all of these cards. Not all of these cards. So what we're going to do, we're going to split this and then in half. All right. And then let's do this again. We're not going to take the whole deck. I knew that whole deck. That was just a fun little test. Are we going to, there we go. What is it? Ooh, but we still have, ooh, I love this. Love this, Goddess. Looky here. So what is it that you need to know? What is the key that is going to unlock what you already know within you that needs to now be brought to the surface, brought into the light? And that is this warrior woman. If you weren't afraid, what would you do? Look at that. We start with the courage card, and right away we are focusing in on that inner strength, that inner knowing, that transcending, that integration of that shadow self that is representative of the fear within you, right? So if you weren't afraid, what would you do? So Goddess, that is your journal prompt. Number 1 for today is, if you weren't afraid, what would you do? In fact, I am always led to challenge you with a more present question of this. So instead of, if you weren't afraid, what would you do? Change it and ask yourself, especially with regards to the speaking out, or maybe you're being called to start something, a hobby, a business, a habits, something that you are being to speak up, like I've said, about something, to reach out to someone. Ask in the present tense with this question. Being that I am not afraid, what am I going to do? In fact, let's take that one step further. Being that I am brave, I have courage, what am I going to do? You can ask, being that I have found my courage, I feel my courage, what am I going to do? Since I have found my brave, what am I going to do? Through this questioning, through this allowing yourself to see these things that you maybe were once afraid to see, that's what creates this deep, deep, deep transformation, is because you are allowing for that which has been buried deep within you to be brought up and be transformed, transmuted, released, healed. But if we keep it locked inside, then it continues to have power over us. So allow for your inner knowing. Allow for your past lifetimes of knowing, your soul's knowing, to be there for you, to support you, for you to allow yourself again to trust that you are safe, that you are supported, and that yes, you are being divinely guided. So as we had the angel number 2020, and I just realized I didn't even read my poem. I usually read my whole little poem, Come With Me Into the Forest for More Than the Trees. Let's discover and embrace all this intuition sees. Together we shall come to know that which we need and reclaim our goddess power on this divine journey indeed. And lo and behold, surprise, not surprised, I don't have angel number 2020 in my collection. So let's see what comes up right off the bat. Well, oh my goodness, right off the bat. Angel number 2020 reassures you that you have everything you need to create the life that you imagine. Well, looky there. Imagination, trusting your inner knowing, trusting that you already have the answers within you, knowing that your guidance is divinely guided. You are on the right path, fulfilling your life purpose and soul mission. And remember, your life path and soul mission, the very root of that, goddess, is you coming home to you. You reconnecting with your power within you. Okay. Let's see here. The appearance of 2020 angel number in your life often marks a gateway from a time of energetic growth to a time of peaceful ruminating or harvesting the wisdom your growth has produced. Again, referencing your inner knowing, honoring the wisdom that you gain as you go and grow along this journey. Yeah. So with that, dear goddess, that is going to wrap us up for this week's biweekly Super Sign Sunday Divine Feminine Energy Empowerment Message. And I remind you that yes, we do have a goddess tribe wherein we talk about this. We are talking about all of the spaces and places wherein we can look for and find our power, especially in this modern world of inversion and everything being upside down and so much contradiction, where literally people believing contradicting things. You see what I mean? I'm not going to give any examples per se right now. We do talk about that in the Goddess Tribe and in our coaching calls. That is the intention. That's what that group is for. And it is a private, secure group. You cannot even take screenshots of messages within the group. You cannot share outside of the group what is in the group. So it is very much a safe, love that, right? Very much a safe and secure place wherein you can practice finding the courage to speak your truth and feel supported and embraced by other sister goddesses that are also on their own self-love empowerment journey, whether they're on a twin flame empowerment journey or have said, no, that's not for me. But I'm all about looking for and finding my power on this journey. And I'm maybe even looking for a relationship with someone else at some point. That's still about you needing to come back into you and your power first. So you can check out all the information about the Rise and Thrive Tribe on my website at empowermentexperiences.com/rise and thrive. And with that, that's all I got for you. I'm truly, truly so grateful. If there is any other way I can serve and support you on this journey to assist in you looking for, finding, and reclaiming your power so you feel empowered even on the days when you feel like you've barely survived them. You still feel empowered because you did survive them. I am here for you. There are more links in the description for just such a thing. And with that, I remind you, as I know it is my mission too, that the power is in your hands. The power to shift what needs shifting, to heal what needs healing, to create what you are here to create, Goddess. The power is in your hands, because that power has always been inside you. Namaste.